everybody's patient with me. And it says we're live on YouTube as well. Awesome. Okay. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Don't have long to talk. Just got a couple of 15 minutes real quick about Dalvin Cook for MVP. Let's stop messing around, please. It's time that we just stop it, because stop kidding ourselves. It's time. It's time to admit Dalvin Cook for MVP. The man is it's about time. It's about time this man wins MVP, because there's no other way to put it. He's just dominating. And it's historically kind of a quarterback award, which is kind of a bloody shame if you ask me, but it's about time we admit it. Dalvin Cook for MVP. I'm not going to say it again, but I'm going to kind of go over reasons why I believe that Dalvin Cook should be MVP. Now, again, I'm going to preface this by saying I know it's a quarterback award, but let's try looking outside of the box here for a second, okay? Let's try looking outside of the box, because at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook, even though he has historically been, almost injured too much to a degree, I don't think. Okay, no, he's been injured a lot. I'm not even going to lie to you. But I'm also not going to sugarcoat it. He's been clearly one of the most dominating football players in recent memory. The last time I've seen a running back go off like this, it literally was the Adrian Peterson 2012 season, the year after he tore his ACL. Fantabulous. I can't believe what this guy's doing right now. But let's stop messing around. Dalvin Cook for MVP. That's the last time I'm going to say it, because it's time that we admit it. This man is just going off, and he deserves a lot of credit. So, in terms of what this means for every other quarterback candidate, well, quite frankly, it means they should win it. They should not win it. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting backtracked here. I'm trying to get everything opened up. So, Dalvin Cook for MVP. The last two games, he has 52 carries for 169 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. That's just running the football. But he has 4 catches for some crazy amount of yards. He has 4 catches for over 100 yards and a touchdown. He is clearly the Vikings offense right now. He is clearly the main reason as to why they are on a roll right now on a 2-game winning streak. If the Vikings make the playoffs some magical way, some just out of this world magical way that the Vikings actually make the playoffs, let's stop kidding ourselves. Let's give this man the award that he deserves, because he's on pace right now to run for over 1,600 yards. And by golly, I think the man deserves it. He's already got 12 touchdowns on the year. He's killing it. Let's give this man the award he deserves, because not because of what he does on the football field, but for the impact that he brings for this team. If Alexander Madison was running the football right now for the Vikings, we can clearly know that he would not even be close to not only the yardage total, but the impact that Dalvin Cook has on the game. And you can tell just by how as he's playing, you can tell that he is so important to this team that it's literally an understatement. Like, it just can't be understated. This guy is just so important to this team that if he's not at 100%, chances are he or the Vikings, for that matter, are not going to be able to carry out the win, to be honest with you. So on the season, Dalvin has over 800 rushing yards, 858 on 144 carries. The man's almost averaging 6 yards a carry, about 6 yards a carry, 12 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just killing it. Made the Pro Bowl last year. We just need to get the thing is, if he continues to make the impact that he's making, I'm pretty sure. Now, usually as running backs go on in their careers, we find them not. We usually judge them on 1,000-yard seasons. He needs 142 to be able to get 1,000 yards for this year, but he's kind of behind the 8 ball when you think of the fact of, okay, he's had almost 3,000 rushing yards in 4 seasons. He's about 1,000 yards behind. I'm saying that he could make up for those 2 lost seasons right now if, in fact, he does finish this year out with 1,000 yards. I mean, this guy, enough can't be said about him. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is kind of a game manager at this point, especially for how well Dalvin Cook is running the football. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, I would much rather have Dalvin Cook running for 150 yards a game and 2 touchdowns and win a game rather than the other alternative, their alternative. So, in essence, this is what the Vikings knew they were going to have to do with Dalvin Cook. They knew they were going to have to run the football. They knew they were going to have to do something different in terms of taking Kirk Cousins out of the equation. Again, I'm not bad-mouthing Kirk Cousins because I realize the man has done everything this franchise has asked him except win in prime time. Not a shot. It's a fact. It's a fact. I realize the man has done everything that he can in his power, but in his offensive line has been hindered at time. Let's also give a quick shout out to the offensive line here. I mean, I'm so ecstatic at what this offensive line has done. I mean, just from top to bottom. I mean, we for years and years we complained about how Slick Rick was not putting enough in the offensive line, and now, I mean, when you think about it, Garrett Bradbury, a first-round draft pick. Ezra Cleveland, right guard, he's a second-round draft pick. I mean, even though he should probably be playing left tackle, but discussion for another day. And then right tackle, Brian O'Neill, also a second-round draft pick. So from top to bottom here, the Vikings are clearly putting stock into their offensive line, and it seems to be helping them out. It seems to be doing wonders for them. So I think we need to stop kidding around, and we need to stop pretending that this man, Dalvin, does not deserve the award because he's got a great offensive line. He's got a game manager at quarterback. Again, don't mind at all that's exactly what Kirk Cousins is. Kirk Cousins has a couple of good wide receivers. He's got an MVP candidate running back in Dalvin Cook. He's got a couple of good tight ends, Irv Smith Jr. balling out. Great to see as well. It's not that hard to be able to think or see that Dalvin Cook should be the MVP. And I'm not just saying this as a Vikings fan. If Christian McCaffrey was healthy for this amount of time, he would be in the conversation. So why not Dalvin? Why not Dalvin? Especially if he stays healthy. If he plays 15 games, he runs for over 1,700 yards, over 20 touchdowns. It's only halfway through the game. Halfway through the season. He's already got 12 touchdowns. Chances are, especially with how much the Vikings run the football, he's probably going to get to 20 touchdowns. If Dalvin Cook scores 20 touchdowns and runs for over 16 yards, he deserves MVP, especially with only playing in 15 games. And the Vikings have to make the playoffs. I realize that's probably a little bit of a contingency there because it just looks better if an MVP candidate is on a playoff team. So the Vikings make the playoffs. Dalvin Cook has over 1,600 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns. I think he could be a shoo-in to be the MVP of the NFL this year. Now, again, a lot of that depends on him staying healthy. It depends on his offensive line play. Depends on basically the Vikings continuing to do the same thing and not putting the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands. Again, that's not a shot at Kirk Cousins, but we have to admit it. When the man, let's look at Kirk Cousins' stats. Well, the man just does not have the ball as much. You can't screw it up. So I don't see the problem with this. His last couple of games, 160 yards against the Packers and a touchdown. Clearly, they only threw the ball 14 times or whatever that game. Okay, that's fine. Dalvin ran for over 180 and a couple of teddies. 4 teddies, by the way, total. 3 rushing, 1 receiving. Then against the Lions, he completed 65% of his passes for over 220 yards and 3 teddies. It is not that hard to continue to give this man the ball, get behind that offensive line. That defense is up and coming. It is not that plausible to see that the Vikings could potentially be a playoff team if they continue to give Dalvin Cook the ball and continue to bring the heat on defense. This is the winning formula. I'm okay with it. You should be too, especially if the Vikings can come out and find a way to make the playoffs after a 1-5 start. If the Vikings make the playoffs off a 1-5 start, I will be just. I'm going to be calm here because it's a Monday. I forgot to wish you guys a happy Monday, though. So, again, the Vikings have to make the playoffs, obviously. Defense has to continue to step up, but Dalvin deserves MVP. Let's get the record straight here today. That's all I had to say about the matter, and I hope you guys have a great Monday. Please take it easy. Let's get today done, and let's get to the weekend.